we've been asking, hoping for some inconsistencies to be fixed. And as it is now, it seems like it's working. So I feel like now it's time to like gather all your resources, your energy, your focus, and push forward.
Welcome back for another amazing episode of the Third Shield Pokemon Go PvP podcast. Guys, today I have the one, the only 8-foot tall 2OButters right here with us on the podcast. Butters, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Daniel.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you because, you know, we've been watching and listening to you constantly since the Pokemon Go Championship started, and I had so much fun. I mean, when you got up to the stage, the first, so let me put it this way. I had no idea what to expect. You know, I saw you a few times and everything, but, you know, we never know. Speedy, I expected top notch, right? And like right off the bat. And then when you came up, and as soon as the microphone turned on, I was like, okay, this is good. And then you just absolutely blow it out of the waters. So thank you for doing that service, because it could have been way worse, if that makes sense, and if it's anybody else, but you really pulled it up to the top.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate the kind feedback I've got from you and the community. I mean, this is like a dream come true for me. I always from the started wanted to pursue casting for Pokemon Go specifically. Like even from the very beginning of PvP, my ultimate goal was to be a caster, so to be on that stage and perform on it. I hope you all aren't sick of me yet, but I'm having a ton of fun with it.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. I didn't even know that. So that's really cool. That answers already one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. But that's super awesome to hear, because, you know, when you have the passion for doing that, then you're gonna perform above and beyond. So that makes perfect sense now. And then, and by the way, it's long hours. Let's be real. It's not 5 minutes. It's long hours. And even when you're not on the stage, you are working behind the stage, right?
Yeah, that is true. We do a little work in production as well. It doesn't feel as long just because it's so fun, but it is a marathon, and that's not just casting, but that's participating as well. I know these tournaments, as they are now, are double elimination, so it's possible you get out a little early, but if like you can start at, I guess, 9, 10 in the morning if you're competing, and not end all the way till like 3:30 or 4 and play all those rounds in one day. It's really a marathon. It's kind of like impressive to see the trainers that actually make it to the very end, because you have to be consistent throughout the entire day, especially double elimination. Like if you lose one round or 2 rounds, you're out.
Even when it happened, it didn't hit us. I mean, when I talked to Toe Tactical, who went to the EUIC, I believe it was at EUIC, and
yeah.
And he told me that even when he walked into the venue, it just then hit him right there what's going on. On the way there to the venue, he still was like, oh, this is gonna be something crap or fail or whatever. And then when he walked into the venue, he's like, oh, we made it.
Yeah, no, I kind of felt that same way. I mean, I didn't know exactly what to expect, because I mean, in terms of how like I got to be a part of it, it happened for me like not too far in advance, so it was kind of like a whirlwind of excitement for me. I was so grateful, so happy, and I didn't know what to expect. But there has been a precedent set for years and years of the other games like VGC, TCG, even Pokken was, I don't know how long they've been a part of it, but I know Unite is going to be making its debut at Worlds. So there has been a precedent set, and it's the real deal. Like there's a whole esports department for the Pokemon company. They put on a really good production.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and I mean, it's in the Play Pokemon now, so it's just only go up.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I've talked about this before, but I thought it was gonna start off like wild, just meta all over the place, crazy Pokemon, heavy damage everywhere. And, you know, I thought that's what it was going to be to start it, but it actually started off hard meta, in my opinion. There wasn't like the teams that were winning a lot were hard meta teams of 6. Even when we had the first North American champion, which was King, he had the exact same team as Iomero. The two teams in the finals were the exact same team. The only difference was a Shadow Walrein and a normal Walrein. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. Is this the best team? And then I was so happy when Cindy in Vancouver set a new precedent that now you can run something like a Shadow, Ember, Kanto, Ninetales and win the whole thing with it. I think that gave the confidence for other trainers to think outside the box and bring something new. And I feel like that is kind of the spirit of Pokemon battling in general. I know you like to play that way. I like to play that way as well. So that's something that I've loved to see as it has gone throughout the season. It's actually opened up more in terms of possibilities. And like you mentioned, a huge thing just happened, 2.41, which the game is consistent now. I mean, knock on wood, the game is working as intended. I know there's still a couple things, like we have some refunds here and there, and obviously lag can be an issue depending on connection, but those like lag issues in event like NAIC, the connection was really good. So if you have a really good connection in a consistent game, it's gonna perform really well in future events.
Oh yeah, that I'm very excited. And then, you know, I wanted to bring this up about Niantic. So they had representation technically at NAIC. I met two people from Niantic. I don't really want to name anything because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to or not. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I had nice conversation with them. They seem to be very interested in what's going on. It almost seemed like they were scouting, you know, that what's happening at Play Pokemon. And then they specifically said they want to be more involved with Play Pokemon. So I'm pretty sure there's like things that we don't know behind the scenes. But they had ideas like I don't know if you remember when you walked at NAIC. And guys, if you haven't been, when you walk in on the right at the bed that said, like a big sign said trainer start here. And that was for TCG. So what they had is, you can, you sign up and they walk you through how to build a team, how to build a deck for TCG, and you get your deck, yada, yada, yada. So when I talked to Niantic, they said basically they think about doing something like that for Go. Like, you know, it's the same setup. They help you build a team, introduce you to PvP and all that kind of stuff. And just in general, to have Go representation more there would be pretty freaking amazing. I mean, the flying Pikachu and all those Poké stuffs are already pretty awesome. I really like that, by the way. But yeah,
I mean, one thing is that I think the Pokemon culture is battling, because even when like original Red and Blue Game Boy came out, you always wanted to get your Pokemon strong enough to defeat the Elite Four. And like, that was the goal, right? So it was always ingrained in your gameplay. And I think there's a lot of untapped potential in the Pokemon Go community in terms of there's such a large player base that plays this game. And if you can tap more into that and bring those trainers in to be playing PvP as well, I think that is probably a big goal of Niantic, and it would be something that would be great for the future. So that makes sense that they would try to have something to that extent there.
Yeah, and the two things to that, it's crazy to me. Here in Tampa, when we go to the radar on Wednesdays, there's about a 50 to 100 people, a big group that shows up. Yeah,
okay.
But here's the thing. Not one of them knew that there was NAIC, just what I pointed out. And they are all about PvE, right? But once I explained to them, showed them videos, I showed Speedy because they know Will, and that he's basically broadcasting, they were like, oh crap, I didn't know this is even happening. How do I participate? So just like we talked about, like Niantic pushed out a few posts and that kind of stuff, but if they do like a full blog post on it, for example, in game, that explains the championship for next season and that kind of stuff and how to get involved, and then maybe when they release a Pokemon, if they learn from Unite, I think Unite is doing an amazing job with that. When they release a new Pokemon or new movesets, they create a few videos on Twitter and in the game that plays on this is the new moveset, this is what it does, and then explains it in the battle system. So if they would do something, a blog post with a video or even a GIF, or how we say it, of explaining. Yeah, you know what I mean?
GIF or GIF. Yeah, I say GIF.
TV, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna take this in a little bit different direction, because I think there's gonna be a lot of incremental changes that could be pushed out that would like help the involvement from the community that maybe is not involved. But this is what I think should happen in the future. We see at NAIC, we see VGC, the final matchup was a Clefairy team and a Bronzong, which came out of nowhere. And these are two teams that went to the finals. Bronzong has some mechanic where as soon as like you use this move, your defensive stat now is your attack stat as well, or something like that. I don't know all the mechanics, but basically they like raise their defense ×4, and then they like use another move, and then they start destroying things, which is really cool. And then Clefairy is using some like held item to do some type of debuff on the team that only like 4 Pokemon in the entire game can do. And that creative freedom that they have available to them at VGC is something that I think would entice Pokemon Go players to PvP, because I think there's a very thin line between collectors wanting to collect things and specifically liking certain things, to then wanting to use those things that they love and collected and worked on to be able to use them. So if a player loves Clefairy, how cool would it be to use that Clefairy, a shiny Clefairy, and go Battle League and not have it be awful? And we even see in TCG, Flying Pikachu won the whole tournament. I don't know much about VCG, but I know Mewtwo dominates, I think Palkia dominates. Flying Pikachu won. I know there's 6 prize cards that you need to win. I don't know if he just picked them up and flew away with them, but whatever Pikachu was doing, it had viability. And that's crucial moving forward, is to give the trainers more creative freedom to build things that they specifically enjoy and have a higher or more layers of strategy that you can use to synergize your team and really bring something different to the stage. And I think that is something that would be so enticing to a broader player base. I don't know, I think there is already, like you mentioned, like how do I get involved, how do I participate in this? I feel like they're not that far off from someone that could be very interested in what PvP has to offer. And especially now that there is a consistent game, I feel like this is the time to really focus on it and push it as much as you can, because now we're finally here. There's been trainer battles forever. There's been a pandemic. We've been asking, hoping for some inconsistencies to be fixed. And as it is now, it seems like it's working. So I feel like now it's time to like gather all your resources, your energy, your focus, and push forward. There's more layers of team synergy where you can build your team around mechanics. And we have that in some sense. We have, Power Up Punch, and we have Poison Fang, but those only account for that individual Pokemon. They don't have team synergy. And I think if there was something like that, it could really unlock a lot more strategies. And now that we have a consistent game, I feel like this is the baseline that we've wanted. And it's a good baseline. It's a baseline I really enjoy. It's a baseline that a lot of people really enjoy. And if you could start adding on that incrementally, and now that you have done the hard work of making the game consistent, I feel like it's time to experiment with other mechanics to add more layers of strategy to the game as well.
Oh yeah, big time. What do you think about this might completely break the game, but what I originally thought would be cool if Icy Beam, instead of just nerf your attack, it would nerf your speed. And what I mean by speed, if you have, for example, if you have a Talonflame, which is a 5-turn move, or then if you, let's say, throw an Ice Beam on a Talonflame, then now the next turn will be 6 turns instead of 5. And then, so it would add just 1 extra turn. And Swampert, same thing. Mudshot now is 1 extra turn. I don't know if that would break the game, but that would add a different mechanism for sure.
I like it. And the thing is, I really like the 30-second switch timer when we got to try it out. But if there were more mechanics like this, where like an Ice Beam slows them down or there's a status effect, then your switch timer becomes really valuable. And if that's a more valuable resource, and it's not a resource just to try to achieve alignment, I feel like that's better for the game, because now it's like, it's to achieve alignment is your biggest reason to use the switch timer. And then also you see at the end game is when I think Pokemon Go PvP is most exciting, when it's kind of down to a 2v2. There's like kind of two half health Pokemon with a certain amount of energy on each side, one protect shield, there's maybe a sack swap available. That's when it goes from like chess to speed chess, and it gets really intense. And the more that you can add to that in game and make it even more dynamic, I think the better it will be in terms of consuming that content and as an audience member, and the more fun it will to actually play the game at the end game.
Oh man, the 30-second timer, to add to that, yeah, if can you imagine even the NIAC just to watch it and for you to commentate on it? Dude, it would have went double the speed technically, because, well, it's technically double the speed, so, but yeah. But the whole commentating, the matches, the swaps, the everything, the game would have moved so much quicker, and there's technically no hard counter city because you only need to survive for 30 seconds. So the meta would have been different as well. I would love that. I know lots of people hated it, but honestly, when there was a 30-second timer and I was battling, I was way more aware of the whole game situation, wasn't looking at my chat when I stream like I do constantly right now, because I know I have to focus, because at any given time, there could have been that swap right there. But now that doesn't happen because I know I have a whole minute for that, you know? How did you actually get into Pokemon Go?
So it's crazy because now it's like this 6-year anniversary, right? So I started, I think my start date was July 11th. So a couple days after, it's just basically my friends were telling me like, hey, come like download this game and come to, there was a park near where I lived called Guadalupe Park. And everyone would go there at nighttime. There was like a 4-stop in one corner, and then there was other stops on the other corner, and like a giant field in between, and people would be there to really late at night. It would be like a mass migration. If there was a normal spawn, like a Charmander spawn, there'd be 100 people moving. If there was a Charizard spawning, it was like mass chaos. It was crazy. But yeah, I just got into it, everyone, in 2016, and I played longer than my friends. My friends stopped playing, and I was like on a weekend, like Saturday in like the hot California sun, just grinding Bulbasaurs because I really wanted a Venusaur. So I was just walking to different sections of a nest, of a Bulbasaur nest, for hours, just like trying to get the Venusaur. I even drove to like a Dratini nest at the time, so I was pretty hardcore as soon as it came out. And then I was kind of, I took some breaks, and then when raiding came, I really got into raiding. I did a lot of like challenges for like Kyogre and Groudon, trying to do 3-mans. I did a duo Rayquaza, like I was super into it. And then I took a little more break, and then PvP came out. And then as soon as PvP came out, that's what I've been doing ever since.
Makes perfect sense, because PvP changed everything forever.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the future, and Pokemon Go and esports, all of that?
You know, I'm so grateful and happy for where I am now in terms of like being able to be a part of the esports in terms of commentating. I hope my future is doing this and shoutcasting, commentating, whatever you want to call it, for the future of Pokemon Go esports, because I truly love it. And I spoke to this, like I hope that is what you feel when you hear my cast. I'm genuinely excited, and I'm really enjoying moments, and I hope I portray that, and then you can then in turn enjoy it as well. So I hope for my future, I'm still doing shoutcasting. It's what I would want to do over competing, if I'm being completely honest. And it's not that I don't like to compete, it's just I love to cast.
Yeah, and we love seeing you casting, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win-win. Win for you, win for us, win for Pokemon Go. So I'm excited to do that. It's a triple win is what you need, the triple crown, and then you are sold. And as far as, you're still streaming, do you have like an actual set schedule so people can find you, or no?
You know, this season, I took a little bit break during the interlude season. I've been streaming pretty much almost every day this season. I don't have a consistent schedule yet. I will get to that, but I mean, you could just find me at twitch.tv/2OButters. I'm there on Twitter and YouTube as well. I haven't made too much YouTube content yet, but I'm looking into it. I'm always, honestly, ever since I first saw your content, like I've been, first of all, impressed by the stuff that you do. and I've been motivated like by all the content that you've made. So I appreciate you and all the work that you've done for the Pokemon Go content. It's really good stuff.
Thank you so much. I mean, it really means a lot. And right back at you, because it's the same thing comes back. Just like what you guys are doing in this community is absolutely insane. I love being here. Just like you said, you enjoying, you know, the shoutcasting and everything. I absolutely love being part of this community. I think this is the best, honestly. No offense to anybody, but this is really good.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there's still so much. I know we're at this juncture of esports just started and the game just got consistent. It really feels like the start of something special. There's so much potential, and we're all crossing our fingers that we reach as much potential as possible. And I know that you'll be pushing, doing everything you can with content and being creative and pushing everything forward. I'll try to always push Pokemon Go PvP in an esport into the light that it deserves as, you know, an esport. And I'm so excited for the future, man.